Certainly sounds like Canada-U.S. trade talks are in a holding pattern. That is after President Donald Trump raised tariffs on certain Canadian goods. Some of the country's premiers are calling for retaliation.
Yep, you heard that right. Some of Canada's premiers are calling for retaliation. I guess these guys just don't learn. Welcome to the channel. If you could, hit that like button. It really helps the video get out. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. Let's get into it.
We have to push back in some way. I mean, we'll continue the initiatives we had here with taking the American alcohol off the shelves, looking at the procurement process. We have to push back for sure. But in what that actual pushback looks like in terms of counter tariffs and stuff, we'll let the Prime Minister and his negotiating team decide on that.
Now, there are other premiers who feel the opposite. In fact, Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe says Canada should walk back its existing retaliatory measures.
We should be starting to look at how we lower any of the counter tariffs that we have in place, or remove the counter tariffs that we have in place as we head towards a low tariff or no tariff environment with the United States of America. This has been asked for by Secretary Lutnick, is to remove any of the tariffs that Canada might have in place. And I think if we're serious about achieving a renewed and a revamped and an enhanced trade environment, or some type of a new and improved USMCA, somebody's going to have to move.
Scott Moe seems to get it. It's an unfortunate situation that Canada is in. And I think dealing with anyone else, it could work fighting back. But this is why we're at 35% tariffs. Removing the retaliatory tariffs would show Trump that Canada is willing to work with them and give him the win that we all know he's looking for.
As it relates to retaliatory, not retaliatory, I don't know anybody in my universe that thinks we should be going easy on the U.S. right now. I don't think anybody is in agreement, again, in my universe, whether they vote red, orange, or blue, agree with Premier Moe or Premier Smith. I think they want us to stand strong, and they want us to not just push back on Donald Trump, but also there's a little bit of protecting our sovereignty there, protecting what is ours and what we have the right to do. So I do think the way that the government has gone so far is well heard or well received from folks. So removing those retaliatory tariffs, I think, would be probably a mistake in the communication to people of what it is that we're doing to stand up for Canada and do protect those jobs.
Again, retaliatory tariffs are one of the main reasons why Trump is punishing Canada. He stated this loud and clear. If you retaliate, tariffs go up. This is going to go one way. Trump is getting what he wants in the end. It's going to be the easy way or the hard way. I don't like this. I don't think it's right on Trump's end, but he's doing what's right for America, and he can't be mad at that. Canada keeps electing incompetent people into the government, and we can clearly see the consequences of that. Our government stands for everything that Donald Trump hates, and he does not respect Carney. Now, CBC actually admitting Carney is a failure.
Okay, Peter, let's start with you. This latest tariff increase of non-CUSMA related goods is not in and of itself, right, going to have a big impact on the economy. 95% of goods still travel across the border tariff-free under the NAFTA deal. So what is the significance then of Trump's latest executive order on tariffs?
To me, at least, there are a couple of important things. One is for those producers of products that are facing that higher tariff now, this is yet more pain. And yes, 95% of products going across aren't going to face it, but a lot of companies make a lot of stuff that still does go across, and it's a headache, and it's extra cost, and it's more uncertainty. But that's the bigger thing, is the uncertainty here is enormous. And this is a deepening of the crisis. Every step we take to make trade between Canada and the United States even a little harder is really hard to undo. That is a bell that cannot be unrung.
Rob, I suppose this could have been worse for Canada. What is your take, though? Is this a success or a failure for Prime Minister Carney?
No way can this be called a success. Look, the tariff at 35% on Canada is, I think, the third highest that he's applied around the globe. Brazil's number one at 50. I think Syria's at 41. And we're number 3 in terms of the punitive nature of the tariff. The president's not taking the prime minister's calls. There are no formal discussions scheduled for the next little while. I assume they're going to be talking over the phone. But people have come back from Washington.
People are coming back from Washington, and Trump won't even take Mark Carney's calls. Hey, elbows up, dummies. Please explain to me, and I know you will, how this is exactly what you voted for. It's all part of the plan. Am I right?
Rob, the Carney government has increased spending on border security, in an effort to appease the Trump administration over the fentanyl issue. They also axed the digital services tax. What else can Carney do at this point?
Not a lot in terms of appeasement, because I think they've gone as far as they can go. If I listen to Minister LeBlanc, as I did on Radio Canada this afternoon, he seemed to suggest that the Americans were looking for us to take down the $30 billion counter tariffs that we imposed earlier this year. Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary in Washington, made a point of saying that Canada was only one of 2 countries that imposed counter tariffs, that retaliated in effect. I get the impression that the Americans would like to see those come down. I don't know how you do that, given that Mr. Carney did pull back the digital sales tax and got absolutely nothing for it. One thing he could do, if I listen to Americans here and some of those in Washington, one thing he could do is talk to Mr. Trump more often. They're never going to be bosom buddies. They are completely different animals. You couldn't get more cat and dog in a way. But that being said, some Americans are urging Mr. Carney to develop more of a relationship with Mr. Trump, some kind of relationship that is apart from the tussle over trade. It's a tough one, but I've covered lots of prime ministers, and I know that when you have a better relationship at the summit level, a lot of the problems underneath can get cleared away in a hurry. That's a difficult one for Mark Carney, but he is being urged to call more often, and call not necessarily on trade. The whole Palestinian issue is one thing that was brought to the fore. Could he have called up the White House ahead of time and said, we're going to do this, and then maybe used it as an excuse to get into trade? Perhaps.
The digital services tax was an idiotic move on the part of the Liberals, and expecting something in return for removing it is crazy. Cozying up to Trump, however, is about Mark Carney's only option. The Premier of Nova Scotia is proud about this affordable housing option. Look at that. Anything is better than nothing, but this is a shed. It looks big enough for a bed, possibly a couch, and that's about it. I don't know for sure, but I would guess it's probably going to be a community bathroom. You work hard in Canada, 8, 10, 12, 16 hours a day, and all this could be yours. And a post from Pierre Poilievre, one of Canada's only major pipeline companies, says they're moving more money, jobs, and construction to the U.S. because the Carney Liberals are making it impossible to build here. Enbridge. I'll finish this off with a quick clip from X. We're all dealing with the rising cost of food in Canada, but these newcomers seem to have found a great way to save a few dollars on groceries. $1,500 worth of food, 100% off. I guess it's not really a crime if there's no punishment. The last thing I want to say is I've been getting a few comments saying I'm deleting comments or censoring. I never delete any comment, even direct personal attacks against me. Everything stays up. If you're not seeing your comment, wait a few minutes. It's the same when I post. I don't see them right away. That's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.